thanks for this starts with my family. It starts with my parents and the examples they set, the expectations they set.
But I really have to thank my parents for getting us educated. Going to Mount Allison University was a real turning point for me. I grew up in a small mining town in northern Quebec. So not only did I get a great education, but socially, going to that university was a great stepping stone for me.
I think you've always got to think about your family, and I've got a very understanding wife and two girls who know that I love what I do.
One of the groups of people that I really would like to thank are my clients for their passion in wanting to make a difference in business and in community.
Thank you to those people that are giving to me and supporting me. So donating back to the community is just a way of saying thank you.
I'm thankful to those that initiated and supported the nomination, and to those who took the time to prepare letters of recommendation. And of course, to the mentors and coaches.
And there's so many people that have helped me along the way. I just can't isolate it down to one person.
Hello, my name is Lori Matheson, and I'm the President and CEO of CPABC. Welcome to CPABC's Member Recognition Celebration. Before we proceed, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the land, which we each call home, wherever that might be. And I'd like to acknowledge the traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples, in particular the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations, on whose traditional territory the CPABC offices are located. We do this land acknowledgement to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples. Please join me in a moment of reflection. Thank you. We're delighted that you can join us to celebrate the honorees of CPABC's Member Recognition Program, which recognizes our leaders, volunteers, educators, and community workers. Through the awards granted, Early Achievement, Distinguished Service, Fellowship, Lifetime Achievement, and Honorary CPA, we honor those who have made a remarkable impact on the profession, the business community, and through their charitable endeavors. The members we are celebrating are both trailblazers and trusted advisors. They are a source of financial expertise, leadership, and integrity to the communities and organizations they serve. They have also played a vital role in leading recovery from the pandemic and through the many other challenges posed by our complex environment. Our honorees are also innovators and pioneers. Through their willingness to challenge the status quo and set new precedents, they have made remarkable contributions to our workplaces, communities, and the CPA profession. Honorees, we are so proud to celebrate you. Congratulations. I would now like to invite Jeff Dodds, Chair of CPABC's Member Recognition Committees, to say a few words.
Thank you, Lori. As Chair of our Member Recognition Committees, I would like to acknowledge the people who generously volunteer their time and expertise to serve on our Committee for Early Achievement and Distinguished Service, and our Committee for Fellowship, Lifetime Achievement, and Honorary CPA. The committee members give a great deal of time and effort to review all of the award and fellowship nominations that we receive each year, and they do an outstanding job of assessing the nominees and working within their terms of reference. It has been a privilege to be a part of this process, and I would like to thank you for your hard work, diligence, and a job well done. I would also like to offer my warmest congratulations to our award recipients. Your accomplishments inspire us all. I will now turn things over to CPABC's Board Chair, Karen Horcher. Over to you, Karen.
As Chair of the CPABC Board of Directors, it's my great pleasure to congratulate the honorees of the Member Recognition Program. On behalf of our profession, I commend you for your dedication and your achievements with so many important and diverse initiatives. Your service makes a difference and positively affects the business community and society as a whole. Whether through leadership in your organization, your industry, or globally, steering the profession through CPA chapters, committees, and boards, or guiding a community-based organization, you bring energy and expertise to navigate dynamic landscapes. In your professional life, you are sought after to make important decisions, identify new opportunities, ensure accountability, manage risks, and guide success. Your contributions in these areas and in so many others sets the standard for excellence in our profession. Honorees, you have all demonstrated a remarkable passion for making a difference. On behalf of the entire CPABC Board of Directors, our heartiest congratulations. Now, let's move into the recognition portion of our program and celebrate your achievements. The Early Achievement Award celebrates members who distinguish themselves early in their CPA career through professional achievement and volunteer service, with an emphasis on professional accomplishment. Members are selected because of significant achievements in their professional work, demonstrated leadership, contributions to increasing the visibility of the profession, or extensive community involvement. This year, we honor Jane with the Early Achievement Award, and we're pleased to introduce her to you now.
I think it's super important to give back to those that give back to you in so many different ways. I implemented something where I donate a minimum of 5% of my profits every year back into the community, and that's through services or cash or items, just a variety of different things. And so through that program, we've been able to support, like I said, several different organizations. Part of the donations in 2020 were the hampers that were donated through Sowens, OSNS, and a couple of different churches. It really help a lot of the local families of different sizes and different needs. But I got my kids involved in that one, and so that they could really see and understand as well what impact you can have and how lucky we really are, and how important it is to really give back to those that are giving to you and those in need, and how it can really support the community and grow.
The title of Fellow is intended to formally recognize CPAs who have rendered exceptional services to the profession, whose achievements in their careers and/or whose contributions in the community have earned them distinction and brought honor to the profession. Each recipient has demonstrated exceptional leadership in their professional career through their volunteer involvement in the affairs of the profession and/or through volunteer contributions to professional, community, and charitable organizations. 6 of our new fellows will be introduced now, and the remaining 6 later in the program. Let's meet the first of the new fellows.
Being elected to fellowship to me means that we've been able to give back to society. And giving back, whether it's giving back through our work or giving back through the community or giving back through our profession. It's really about showing that we've been able to help others. And when I think about making an important change was when I was on the board of Praxis Institute. Praxis at that time had just been spun out of another foundation, and it was just getting going on its own. And it needed some maturity. It didn't have the steady stream of funding as well. So we really had to professionalize the organization and put in place some new practices. And part of that was instilling a new sense of governance as part of the organization, creating the tone at the top, and ultimately it was supporting management, which resulted in them being accredited under Imagine Canada. And that was a big accomplishment for them and gave them a lot of credibility as they moved forward and continued their journey.
Well, when I think of the FCPA and my own values, 2 words just come to mind: trust and integrity. And I believe they would speak for both how I live my life, but also the expectations of an FCPA.
Being a CPA to me means having the opportunity to be that driver of change. And you know, I came into this profession wanting to make a difference in business and at the time, hopefully in community as well. And I think the CPA has really equipped me to do just that. I would say one very memorable moment for me was when the Greater Vancouver practice leader came to me and asked me if I would like to lead the charge in growing our not-for-profit practice. Something that I had not thought about, frankly, but I took it on. And it's very memorable for me because it has allowed me in the last 15 years to work with some of the most impactful organizations in the community, you know, whether they be in human and social services, education, health, or the arts. It gave me the chance to work with organizations who in their own right are leaders and drivers of social change.
Part of the beauty of a CPA designation is that it's a global designation. But when I think about maybe a couple of more interesting ones are the ones that I've enjoyed. First one is the first time I went to South Africa. If you go to South Africa and maybe that general Southern Africa environment, it's spectacular. You know, you work down there, but you also see how people live and how tied in they are to nature and the nature reserves there. And we have a mine down there that has a nature reserve on it, so there's some of the big, you know, there are giraffes wandering around, zebra, some of the big stuff, the elephants are wandering around. So just to see that in front of you is quite spectacular. And then another place I'd mention is, I've been to a few of the former Soviet countries, but Mongolia, the first time I went there, and you go out and you work out in the Gobi Desert, it's different because it's so different. There aren't many places left in the world that are like the last frontier, and places like that are like the last frontier. So to be able to go there and see that, it's somewhere you'd never go on your vacation. But to be able to go and see it and work there, these are experiences that you just don't get elsewhere.
I think one of the most significant stories of change I made in my work career was one of my CFO jobs, where I was the CFO of a Vancouver semiconductor company 20 years ago. And it was a startup semiconductor company, and it was funded by Prince George angel investors. And you're thinking, Prince George angel investors investing in a Vancouver high-tech semiconductor company, and the Prince George people had no experience when it comes to technology. And one of the investors was a widow, and she put most of her net worth into this high-tech company, millions of dollars. And as soon as I got in there as a CFO, I looked at the books, and I realized we don't have enough money here to survive 2 or 3 months. And then 9/11 happened, and our access to venture capital disappeared overnight. So now you're in a quandary. What are we going to do? This woman's got her entire life savings in our company. And I had to rally the management team to taking no salary. So for 9 months, we didn't get paid. And I remember going home to my wife, and she's like, what kind of a job have you taken? Well, you're not getting paid for 9 months. So we kind of had a laugh, but it was kind of, well, we got to hang in there. I think we can find a solution. And at the end of the day, we managed to sell this company to Intel Corporation. And those 40 employees that were there 20 years ago are now 300 employees here in Vancouver today. And we got all the money back for these angel investors.
It's the people. You know, you get to meet very smart, creative people in your profession, not just in the accounting profession, but in all sorts of areas, and to be able to meet them, work with them, it's just a great opportunity. One night at UBC, a student came to me and asked me what I thought he needed to do to get a job at an accounting firm. And so I said to him, I don't want to tell you when you're in my class, but if you want to come back after the class is over, I'd be happy to talk to you. So a few months later, he showed up one night, just showed up out of the blue in my class, and he started asking me. So he asked me a number of questions, and his profile was, he's very smart, he had very good grades, but he couldn't get the interview. So I helped him to understand what he needed to do to be successful in an interview. And what happened was he did that, and then months later he called me and said he was employed. And I guess for me that was a great sense of satisfaction.
The Distinguished Service Award recognizes the dedicated, committed, and outstanding contributions of CPAs who are active volunteers within and outside the profession. Recipients have displayed remarkable volunteerism either to the CPA profession through service on committees, chapters, and task forces, or through their unstinting support of a social cause, or one or more not-for-profit or charitable organizations. This year, we honor Jennifer CUDLIPP and Edward PEREIRA with the Distinguished Service Award, and we're pleased to introduce them to you now.
I've been volunteering for as long as I can remember, whether it's through school or through sport and where I lived. And I now have 2 boys of my own. And so I've supported their hockey associations, their baseball teams in their school. And over the last several years, I've been volunteering for not-for-profit organizations on their boards. I've chosen organizations that align with my values, that make an impact. And my hope is that my boys are inspired by me and they make volunteering part of their lives for what's important for them. When you think about the impact that a CPA can have on the community, and when I think about the ways that I've leaned in to support organizations in the community, they've been on broad topics, whether it's been homelessness, mental health, and some of the other challenges, but every community is different. So for me, think about something that's meaningful to you. When I think about the state of the world right now and the impact COVID has had on people, I think about people really wanting to connect. And so I'm trying to think about ways that I can connect people in the community to each other. And I think that's what people are looking for right now.
Well, I had the opportunity to become president of ISACA Vancouver chapter, and in that role, I helped found the BC Aware campaign, which was a public education and security conference initiative, and to bring and raise and elevate cybersecurity threats and risks to government, industry, and the education sectors in the province. So that was very fulfilling. And it was just great working with all sorts of segments of society on that. The sky's the limit when it comes to volunteerism. You can have small volunteer opportunities with small rewards, but you can also have really big opportunities to do something really special in your community. There's no playbook for how a small or big volunteer opportunity should be and what you can get out of it. In the case of BC Aware campaign, there was this huge opportunity for creativity and a great outlet for energy. So once we found our cause, we knew that ISACA was in a really good place to be the champion of cybersecurity awareness in industry and government.
For For the next part of our presentation, we're delighted to introduce the remaining members who are receiving their fellowship designation. Let's meet the new fellows.
I'm proud of the commitment to and advancement of diversity and inclusion during my career and look forward to the continuing progress in this area. I'm honored to be the first female partner in my local office, and I'm forever grateful to the partners at that time for their support. Since then, I've dedicated my time to also support the advancement of women, diversity, and inclusion in our profession. During my time as a CPA, I've supported many peer networks, events, education, and connections to encourage colleagues to embrace who they are and to bring their authentic self to work. Diversity in people makes discussions richer, recommendations more innovative, and teams stronger. Today, I'm so proud that over half of the partners in my local office are female, and we're continuing to focus on all aspects of equity, diversity, and inclusion, and mental health as a foundation of our business. I look forward to continuing to pay it forward through coaching and mentoring others, advancing the profession, and making a positive contribution to our community.
I think I was one of the first partners at KPMG that worked part-time, and that was a really excellent opportunity to help me raise my family during while working in a stressful career. And so I think it was also a good example to others. And so I worked part-time for 16 years, and then I worked 90%, and then I went back to full-time at this point in my career. So I think that was a nice change. And one of the things I've also tried to do a lot is bring humor to the workplace and to my presentations and the teaching that I do and with my clients. And I find that it's a lot more fun to work with people when you can laugh about things. And we do a lot of serious work, so having a little bit of fun in the meantime is good. And I think I've made tax a bit more fun, at least when I talk about it. I think overall, I think I appreciate KPMG as a firm because we've been big supporters of diversity all along, and so I was able to be a mother and a partner and work part-time and have a male admin assistant, which has all been really great.
The CPA, I've been pretty consistently involved with the seniors tax clinics, and where basically they promote low-income seniors can get their taxes done. Many of the group are not even trained in tax or their first time through, and we basically start and say, well, if you run into somebody who owes tax, then chances are you did something wrong, because the people that were there to help generally don't know tax enough. But there's one, it seems like every year you get what I call a project, and you find out how much people need your help or don't realize what they can do. And one that I guess comes to mind in particular is, I think there was I'd say I can't remember, but probably she was 90 years young, wonderful lady, and doing the tax return, and came out not owing any taxes. And so as I completed a return, I said, well, it's awful odd you don't have an old age security slip form. 65, everybody should be getting one of those. Oh, what's that? And so I bet you it went on for about 3-4 months to get her consent and to talk to Service Canada, and away we go. And it turns out that for somehow she had just missed applying. And again, these are people that are living at near poverty level income levels, and so you know, we worked it all through, and they were able to give her about 3 years' work, which is about $18,000. And, you know, it was like she won the 649 or something like that.
In terms of what excites me about my work is how often it changes and how often we have new, exciting things that are thrown in front of us. When I joined TELUS, I had no idea I'd end up working for a company that was going to be one of the largest healthcare technology companies in Canada. Never realized that we'd have an opportunity to be challenging global food supply shortages as we're doing now with TELUS Agriculture. And there's always some new exciting challenge. For me, within that, I get the most excited and find the most value out of the team that I get to work with. I firmly believe that one of the strongest links to team member engagement is the direct relationship a team member has with their leader. When I see the light bulb go off for them, that they solve that complex problem that they've been battling with for a couple of weeks, or when they nail a presentation to a senior executive for the first time, and you just see the elation on their face that they finally did it. I get more now excitement out of that. And so seeing my team kind of learn and grow and develop and become who they are, that's what really gets exciting for me within that broader concept of we're changing every day and there's always something new and exciting to challenge.
Things that sort of get me up in the morning. One is solving or working on big, complex problems, and the other one is being part of a team. And so when I'm at my best, when I'm doing things that really excite me and motivate me, it's when I'm part of a team of really smart, engaged people working on really big, complex problems. And when I look at the world that we're all in right now, there's no shortage of those big, complex problems. We've got climate change, inequality, diversity, lack of diversity, disruptive effects of technology, things like that. And so the position I'm in right now, surrounded by a really great team of smart people working on those kinds of big, complex problems is what gets me up in the morning. But if I think about the changes that, to me, were the most impactful or the most lasting, it's usually an opportunity to help somebody else with their career, to help somebody else grow and become a leader or become a better leader. Over time, I've had the chance to work with many young people coming up in their career, and I'm in touch with many of them still. And those are the changes to me that I'm most proud of and to me are the most lasting.
My secret to success is people. Surround yourself with good people, whether it's the people that you work with, the people that you want to partner with, your friends, your family. It's the people around you that help you achieve your dreams. The road to success is wrought with failure, but through that journey, you're going to meet and interact with people that will help shape your future and hopefully your success. What excites me about my work is the ability to work with other entrepreneurs. I'm an entrepreneur myself, but through my businesses, I get to interact with other entrepreneurs and I get to see the world through their eyes. I get to see the problems that they see, but more importantly, the solutions and the innovative technologies that they're inventing to come up with solutions to solve those problems, but more importantly, make the world a better place for all of us.
Our next presentation is the Lifetime Achievement Award. Within our community of fellows, there are a few individuals whose dedication, commitment, and extraordinary contributions include achievements of such significance across a broad range of areas that the profession wishes to recognize these exceptional FCPAs by granting them a Lifetime Achievement Award. This year, we're so very pleased to present the Lifetime Achievement Award to Olin Anton. Lori recently had the opportunity to chat with Olin, as well as the people who nominated and seconded him. Lori, over to you.
So welcome, Olin, and congratulations on receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award. And hello to your nominators. We have with us today Barry McDonald and Len Boggio. It's really great to have all of you here today to talk about Olin and the Lifetime Achievement Award.
This is going to be embarrassing. Come on, you guys.
So Olin, you volunteered with the CPA profession in leadership roles for many years, including during the unification of the accounting profession as CPABC's inaugural board chair, as interim president and CEO of CPABC.
I left it in good shape for you.
Of course. Your contributions have absolutely been deeply, deeply impactful and really have helped us build a stronger profession for everyone. So I wanted to start by asking you, Olin, what motivates you to give back so extensively to the profession?
So I grew up in a small town, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. My father was a businessman, ran a kind of business selling mobile homes. My mother helped out in that business a fair bit, but she had a lot of extra time, so she was busy. I mean, she was involved in kind of everything that went on in town. So I kind of learned at the foot of her is when I started articling in Vancouver with Arthur Anderson at that time. We sponsored a team on the Junior Achievement Program, and I got involved in that right away. It was something that I thought was amazing. And from that point on, I realized that, you know, you got a lot out of volunteering, a lot of things that you don't necessarily learn from courses that you take in university or in preparatory to your final examination for becoming a professional accountant.
And with all these experiences, can you maybe describe for us a highlight that really stands out for you in your volunteer life?
Oh, without a doubt, the highlight was serving as CPABC's first chair with Barry on our board. It was an amazing time. There was a lot of great work had been done nationally by the various bodies. But prior to that, we had been meeting as combined boards for a number of years, trying to operate as one, even though we weren't legally allowed to operate as one. But coming together and after the legislation created CPABC with a board of 15 people, 6 from the CA profession, 6 from the CGAs, and 3 from the CMAs.
All the right reasons, which is why I think it's been so successful. So Barry, let me turn to you. You nominated Olin for this award. Maybe you can set the context for us and tell us a little bit more about your relationship with Olin, how you've worked together over the years.
Good. Thank you, Lori. First off, congratulations, Olin. It's a wonderful achievement. I think I've known Olin by reputation for about 40 years now.
And you as well have been very involved with the profession, having served as the board chair for CPABC. Mm-hmm. So can you maybe tell us a little bit more about why you decided to nominate Olin?
It was actually an easy decision because Olin, I think, is #1 of our first class of professionals. When the unified board, the first board after unification for CPABC, was looking for a chair, Olin turned out to be the best candidate from all potential first chairs. The reason why I kind of call it the 4 C's. Olin's very collaborative, very calm, cool demeanor, and I think number 4, maybe most important, he cares. Olin cares about people.
And the characterization of the 4 C's is very, very suiting. Len, I'm going to turn to you now. You've also contributed extensively to the profession. You served as president of your legacy accounting organization, and you also are a Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Mm-hmm. So why do you think that Olin is so deserving of this award?
Olin and I were on the board of the legacy profession at the same time. I was just coming off, I was in my year of presidency, and he had just arrived. During that year, we had a lot of discussions about the merger of our professional bodies in this province and how it was going to align with the federal unification program that was underway. And Olin was a person who always brought this calm, considered perspective to our meetings. And some of the meetings did get pretty excited.
A little tense.
There were tense times. But Olin helped to see us through that. And it really showed that he started at the very start of this unification process becoming public, for the public to hear about. And he contributed a lot to that.
Very well put, thank you. But Len, perhaps you can tell us something about Olin that we might not know.
Olin and I have known each other since
the Technical Advisory Committee.
Technical Advisory Committee.
That was the first time?
Way back, that's right.
Yeah, you were always more competent than I was.
I'm not sure. But we became partners in the same year in '88 in our respective firms. And Olin retired a little bit after I did in 2016. And he retired in a year that I'd gone off to with my wife. We were traveling around the north of Scotland. And I mentioned this to him, that we were just up in John O'Groats, the farthest northeast part of the United Kingdom, and the mainland. And he said, "Oh, I've been there as well." He said, "I did this just after I retired and just after I stepped down as the CEO of the CPABC." And I said, "Oh, that's fantastic. Did you drive around much?" He said, "Well, no, actually, we cycled to there." And we cycled to there from Land's End, which is the farthest southwest point of the UK. And it is, I looked it up, it's 1,300 kilometers or more, maybe 1,400.
Actually, the route we took was 2,000 kilometers, and it was 20,000 meters of hills.
There we are.
We started zero and ended zero.
This is something very few people will know about, because he was quiet about telling me this too, but he's very proud of that accomplishment, as you can see. It's quite something, and I'm sure most people don't know this about Olin.
And Barry, you said you had a fun fact about Olin.
Olin has a lot of grit, like successful leaders do. And I think the grit comes from playing soccer. And not only did you play a lot of soccer, but you played on the University of Saskatchewan varsity soccer team for 5 years. And that's a tough sport, and to play it at the competitive university level, I think helps illustrate where Olin's grit comes from.
Is there anyone who has really helped you in your career who you would like to thank today?
So it was really the people that helped me out in the early stages of my career. It was the HR person at Arthur Anderson that got me a transfer to Lisbon, Portugal, where my wife and I got married on August 30th, and 7 days later we were on an airplane with all our possessions, which was not much at that time, transferring to Lisbon, Portugal, and we worked for 3 years in a startup office at that time. So that fellow, the HR guy, got me that transfer, and it proved to be a very enduring experience. I look back upon it, I made friends, I traveled all around Europe, despite the fact that Portugal was on the outside of Europe. A lot of car trips. And I learned a lot. And the second person I'd like to kind of comment on was the managing partner for the last 2 years I was there. He was an English fellow that came down to take over and run the office, and I worked with him quite a lot, and he taught me a lot. First of all, he asked for feedback. That was something I was so unfamiliar with. He had the right level of confidence in all the interactions that he had, in client presentations, things that happened inside the firm, and he just displayed that right degree of confidence so that everybody around felt very comfortable with the decisions that he was taking.
Well, I'm sure you would be on the list of many young CPAs as someone they would want to thank for making an impact on their career. So thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you for sharing with us today so much about your history, your experience, and your reflections on the profession. There's no question you have contributed a tremendous amount to unification and the betterment of the profession, as well as the evolution of CPABC. And we really appreciate learning more about you. And thank you also to Barry and to Len,
Barry and Len,
for telling us why you are so very deserving of the Lifetime Achievement Award.
we had a lot of good meetings together on the early CPA board. It was a lot of fun.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Laurie.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Laurie.
I think of 3 words that describe CPA. I think of thriving, agility, and creativity.
I think of ethical, I think of multi-talented, and I think of persuasiveness.
You don't always have the information you need to make the decisions, the bold decisions you need to deal with the challenges. So uncertainty and courage.
They are trusted, they're adaptable, they're forward-thinking.
They'll also become more technical and more adaptable.
One is knowledge, one is technology, and the other is relationship.
Our jobs are very data-oriented, and the technical skills that are required to work with that data and to be analytical and succeed in our roles, that's had a big change.
CPAs can play a pivotal role in helping businesses transition to this new world of Web3, crypto, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and how those economies work.
But I'd say leading the pack.
That concludes the recognition portion of our event. I hope you've enjoyed getting to know our 2021 honorees as much as I have. Please stay with us a moment longer as we wrap up the formal portion of our event. CPABC is so very proud to recognize its 2021 Member Recognition Honorees. I want to thank all of our award recipients for being with us today and the family members, friends, and colleagues who have joined us to celebrate their achievements. I'd also like to mention that nominations for the 2022 Member Recognition Program are now open, and details regarding the awards are available on the CPABC website. Today, we have recognized 16 outstanding individuals, and I'm sure that some of you know of other deserving members. Thank you again for joining us, and congratulations to all of our award recipients.